Shocking Emmerdale spoiler. A second character dies after brutal attack. Just days after Rishi Sharma's death in Emmerdale, another character has died. Lloyd Sawyer has been in hospital after Dan punched him. The stalker made his way to the village a few weeks ago with the intention of spending more time with Amelia, who he had found on social media. During a heated showdown, Dan ended up punching Lloyd after he wound him up. Lloyd then fell and hit his head on a rock, and has been in a coma ever since. This has left Dan with no choice but to play a very long waiting game, fully aware that if Lloyd died, everything would change. In Thursday's, August 3rd, episode of the ITV soap, Dan, Amelia and Victoria headed to court for the plea hearing. As Dan took to the stand, he pondered over whether or not to plead guilty. While he endured flashbacks of the ordeal, we also saw Wendy working a shift at the hospital. As alarms started to beep, she rushed into Lloyd's room and called the team with her. The doctor in charge eventually concluded that Lloyd had died, and it happened just as Dan said that he's guilty. The judge at court told Dan that his sentencing will be delivered in a couple of weeks, allowing him the chance to return home in the meantime. Sitting at the new bus stop with Wool, Dan was interrupted when Julie, Lloyd's wife, arrived and broke the news that her husband had died. Understandably, Dan was horrified. Wool tried to tell him that he didn't kill a man intentionally, but all Dan could think about was the fact that a man is now dead because of his actions. With prison awaiting Dan, what will he think when a desperate Amelia puts forward the idea of going on the run?
Ok Spoiler, một kênh tin tức chuyên cung cấp cho các bạn những thông tin mới nhất về những bộ phim xà phòng của Vương quốc Anh như Emmerdale, Emmerdale Spoiler, và Hollywood. Các bạn hãy để lại bình luận bên dưới về những thông tin chúng tôi đã nêu trong video. Hãy like và subscribe để ủng hộ kênh. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn video tiếp theo.